Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. In South Korea, plane carrying 181 people on board crashes during landing at Muan Airport. 28 casualties reported. Rescue operation underway. Russian president apologizes to Azerbaijan, says was repelling Ukrainian attack, calls for objective and transparent probe. Georgia to inaugurate disputed President Mikhail Kavelashvili. Protesters demand for fresh polls. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with countrymen in monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat. And in sports, Australia lose Constas and Khwaja in second innings after India score 369 on day 4 of the Melbourne Test. Alright, big news just coming in. A plane carrying 181 people on board crashed during landing at Muan Airport in South Korea. According to South Korea state agency Yonhap, 28 people killed in the plane crash. So big news coming in here. The South Korean passenger airplane veered off the runway and collided with a fence at an airport in the southwestern city of Muan. The accident happened at 9:07 a.m. when the Jeju Air flight was landing at the Muan International Airport in South Jeolla province, about 288 kilometers away from Seoul. So the plane with some 175 passengers and 6 crew members aboard was returning from Bangkok. Authorities were conducting an investigation on the site to determine the exact cause of the crash, and rescue operations were also underway, the official said. Alright, so a plane carrying 181 people on board crashed during landing at Muan Airport in South Korea. This is the big news that is coming in. According to South Korea state agency Yonhap, 28 people have been killed in the plane crash. And the South Korean passenger airplane veered off the runway and collided with a fence at an airport in the southwestern city of Muan. Rescue operations are underway, but big news coming in here. Very unfortunate that the plane has crashed in South Korea. Plane drives off runway and crashes at the Muan airport. This is the latest that we can tell you, that 28 casualties have been reported in the plane crash and the rescue operations are underway. Russian President Vladimir Putin apologized to Azerbaijan President Ilham Aliyev days after plane crash. According to a statement by Kremlin, Vladimir Putin apologized for the fact that incident happened in Russian airspace. The Russian president also offered deep and sincere condolences to the victims' families and wished a speedy recovery to the injured. RT correspondent Yasin Yakin has filed this report from Baku in Azerbaijan.
It comes at a time that Azerbaijan was, of course, carrying out investigations into the incident. And we understand that two heads of state discussed these scenarios which transpired. And we understand just at this current stage, the Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed his condolences to those people that were tragically killed as a result of that incident, as well as expressing his apologies for the circumstances in which they transpired. We understand that that it happened within Russian airspace, and the Russian president was quite vocal in ensuring that it was, in fact, an accident. Of course, this is going to be concluded as a result of an investigation that not just Azerbaijan, but the state of Russia itself is going to be currently conducting. But what we understand at this given time, according to the telephone conversation held between the two heads of state, that the aircraft that was trying to head and land at Grozny Airport was, of course, subjected to an area which was being targeted by Ukrainian drone attacks, which triggered Russian air defense systems. And as a result of those attacks, the plane was diverted to Kazakhstan. And we understand that the events that transpired from there on was of course tragic. We understand that the aircraft was essentially carrying 67 people. This includes crew members on board, nationals from Russia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan, which also resulted in the death of about 38 people. We understand, of course, at this given moment, on Friday, the head of Russia's Air Transport Agency issued a statement suggesting that the plane's pilot tried to land the plane many times. This is corresponded with eyewitness testimonies from surviving passengers on board the Azerbaijani aircraft. And we understand that at this given point, it was diverted to Kazakhstan because the airspace within the immediate region was closed. Let's listen to him.
Updates on Israel Hamas conflict now. Israeli forces have detained over 240 people, including several medical staff and the director of hospital in northern Gaza during a raid on December 27. The Israeli military claimed that Gaza's Kamal Adwan hospital was being used as a Hamas command center, with all detainees suspected of militant ties. Ahead of the operation, the Israeli military said it coordinated the evacuation of 350 patients and staff to nearby facilities, including 95 moved to the Indonesian hospital. In a separate incident, Israeli forces intercepted 2 projectiles launched from northern Gaza towards Israel on Saturday. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, hundreds of flag-waving protesters gathered downtown calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and a deal to secure the release of hostages. Families of the hostages are questioning whether the government is negotiating in good faith. Now, Georgia is gearing up for inauguration of Georgian Dream loyalist Mikhail Kavelashvili as country's new president after his election was declared illegitimate by the current leader Salom Zurabishvili and the pro-Western opposition. The inauguration of Kavelashvili is expected to further escalate the political crisis after the contested October 26 parliamentary election in which the pro-Russian Georgian Dream claimed a landslide victory. The opposition parties and Zurabishvili do not acknowledge the election results and claim they were rigged. But Zurabishvili, whose mandate ends with new leader's inauguration, has refused to step down until the government announces fresh parliamentary elections. Thousands of Georgians form human chains in Tbilisi and across the country in support of European Union membership and demanding new elections, marking the second month of the daily pro-Europe rallies. The protests began on 28 November after Prime Minister Kobakidze announced that Georgia would postpone its EU bid until 2028. On Friday, the United States imposed sanctions on Georgia's former Prime Minister and the chairman of Georgian Dream, Bidzina Ivanishvili, saying he undermined the country's democratic future for Russia's benefit. And thousands have fled Mozambique in the past week to neighboring Malawi, seeking refuge from the southern African nation's deadly post-election protest. Some 13,000 people have crossed over to Malawi since Monday, according to government sources, the day Mozambique's top court confirmed the ruling party's win in October's vote. Several government ministries were put on alert and the asylum seekers were being housed across a number of temporary sites. Around 134 of those were killed since the top court on Monday confirmed victory for the Frelimo party, which has been in power since independence from Portugal 5 decades ago. Now, Afghanistan has strongly condemned Pakistan for violating its sovereignty following a series of airstrikes on its eastern Paktika province on Tuesday night, saying at least 51 people have been killed in the attacks, mostly women and children. Pakistani officials, however, claim that the strikes targeted militant hideouts in border areas with Afghanistan. The airstrikes hit 4 locations in several villages of Barmal district of Paktika province. Al-Haji Mullah Nurullah Noori, Afghanistan's acting Minister of Border and Tribal Affairs, visited Barmal district on Friday to investigate the aftermath of airstrikes. He stated that all the victims were refugees or the civilians. Pakistan's Special Envoy for Afghanistan, Sadiq Khan, was in Kabul on the same day as the airstrikes. Despite ongoing diplomatic efforts, the strikes in Barmal district have heightened tensions, with the Afghan caretaker government warning of potential consequences for Pakistan. United Nations aid was unloaded from trucks in Khartoum in the first delivery of international aid to the Sudanese capital since war broke out in the country in 2023. The local aid organization Khartoum State Emergency Response Room said the aid was delivered to a hospital in Khartoum. The aid delivery to Sudan occurred after the Global Hunger Index reported that famine conditions had spread in the country. The Famine Review Committee of the Integrated Food Phase Classification estimated about 24.6 million people, about half of all Sudanese, urgently need food aid. Now, the authorities in Australia's Victoria state looked on Sunday to contain and assess damage from a large fire that has ripped through the Grampians National Park this week, destroying homes and farmlands. The blaze has spread across 74,000 hectares, destroying homes and multiple sheds on the eastern section of the national park. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is expected to tour parts of the region to assess the damage. Authorities have warned of a high-risk bushfire summer after several quiet seasons. The 2019-20 Black Summer fires destroyed an area the size of Turkey and killed 33 people. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. A winning ticket has been sold for a United States lottery jackpot of $1.22 billion, one of the largest prizes in the history of the gambling game. The ticket was sold in the state of California after the winning 6 numbers were announced. The identity of the winner is not yet clear. The winner can claim the full $1.22 billion in annual payments over a period of 30 years or opt for a one-off cash payout of $549.7 million before tax. People participated in the annual Good Riddance Day event at Times Square on Saturday, where they symbolically let go of their past struggles and negative experiences. The tourists wrote the things they plan to leave behind on small chalkboards and then erase them. The symbolic gesture is intended to give participants a clean slate as they start the new year. Worshippers gathered in Rio de Janeiro's iconic Copacabana beach to honor Afro-Brazilian sea goddess Iemanjá ahead of the new year on Saturday. As part of this annual tradition, followers of the Umbanda and Candomblé religion dress in white, sing and dance around the statue of Iemanjá, which is set up on the beach. They also offer flowers, letters and beauty products as gifts for the sea goddess. Revelers known as elves and farinats covered in flour staged a playful and chaotic mocku in the Spanish town of Ibi on Saturday. Dressed in military uniforms and sashes, locals engage in a lively battle throughout the village. The day kicks off with elves and farinats taking over the mayor's office and establishing absurd laws as they confront the opposition with an explosion of flour and eggs. Some weather updates. Multiple tornadoes have ripped through the Houston area in the United States, with southeast Texas remaining under a tornado watch. The severe weather stretches across eastern Texas into Louisiana, Mississippi and Alabama, keeping the region on high alert. In South America, massive waves up to 13 feet high have battered Ecuador and Peru, leaving one person dead and forcing ports in Peru to close. Beaches along the central and northern Peruvian coastline have also been shut down to protect lives. Meanwhile, festive travel in the UK is taking a hit as thick fog blankets central London and much of the country. The heavy mist has disrupted flights, grounding planes and delaying landings, making travel plans a challenge on this busy weekend. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Indian Army contingent comprising over 300 personnel will participate in joint military exercise Surya Kiran between India and Nepal. ISRO set to launch its space docking experiment SpaceX on December 30th. And India's Koneru Humpy wins FIDE World Rapid Championship 2024.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in Mann Ki Baat program. It will be the 117th episode of the monthly radio program. The program will be broadcast on the entire network of Akashvani and Doordarshan. It will also be live streamed on the YouTube channels of All DD network. Akashvani will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. The Election Commission of India unveiled what it calls the world's largest electoral data set, releasing 42 detailed statistical reports on 2024 Lok Sabha elections and 14 reports each on 4 state assembly elections. This groundbreaking initiative is designed to promote transparency, foster research and build public trust in India's electoral system.
Nearly half of the world's population live in countries that held elections in 2024. More than 60 countries and territories held national elections in 2024, and India was one of those countries where parliamentary elections were held in 2024. In a landmark move aimed at promoting transparency and research, the Election Commission of India released the world's largest electoral data set, unveiling 42 statistical reports on 2024 Lok Sabha elections and 14 reports each on 4 state assembly elections. The data sets revealed that the 2024 parliamentary elections created a world record, with 64.64 crore voters exercising their franchise. The number of nominations filed stood at 12,459 in 2024 compared to 11,692 in 2019, while 8,360 candidates contested elections as against 8,054 in 2019. The report further highlighted that women voters outshined male participation, signaling a new trend of increased female participation in elections. Females outnumbered men in 2024 again, like in 2019. This is only the second time in the history of GEs to Lok Sabha. Female voter turnout stood at 65.78% compared to 65.55% for male electors. Female contesting candidates numbered 800, up from 726 in 2019. In 2024, number of female electors per 1,000 male electors made a new high, that is 946 as compared to 926 in 2019. The scale of India's election is often compared to those in other countries to underscore its magnitude. Interestingly, the number of registered electors rose to 97.97 crore in 2024. Number of registered electors rose to 97.97 crore in 2024, a 7.43% increase from 91.19 crore in 2019. Dhubri in Assam recorded the highest turnout at 92.3%. Transgender votes stood at 27.09%. The 2024 Lok Sabha elections featured 10,52,664 polling stations, an increase from 10,37,848 in 2019. Uttar Pradesh recorded the highest number of polling stations at 1,62,069. Bihar saw the largest increase in polling stations with 4,739 additional stations compared to 2019, followed by West Bengal with 1,731. The size of India's electorate is more than the population of all the countries of Europe combined. India's electorate size exceeds the population of Europe, which stands at approximately 745 million and nearly matches the population of Africa, which is about 1.3 billion. Bureau Report, DD India.
And the Indian Space Research Organization is set to launch its space docking experiment Sparx on December 30th. The mission will use PSLV C-60 lifting off at 21:58 IST from Sriharikota. Sparx marks a milestone showcasing India's expertise in spacecraft docking technology. Sparx will deploy 2 identical satellites. Key objectives include performing precision rendezvous and docking maneuvers, validating power transfer between docked spacecraft and operating payloads post undocking with a 2-year lifespan. This capability is vital for India's lunar and interplanetary missions. Docking technology enables multi-launch missions and supports future human space flight. Only the US, Russia and China have mastered such advancements so far. And in a significant breakthrough for Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur-Baramulla rail link project, Indian Railways conducted trail runs at the Katra-Reasi section of the highly anticipated project. The Katra-Reasi stretch, covering a challenging over 100 kilometers, faced multiple interruptions during construction, necessitating the involvement of global experts. The Jammu-Baramulla railway line is a groundbreaking infrastructure project aimed at linking the Kashmir Valley in Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India. Covering a distance of 338 kilometers, the railway line starts at Jammu and ends at Baramulla, passing through a range of difficult and varied landscapes. Now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Navi Mumbai International Airport on Sunday will conduct its first commercial landing on the southern runway. The Airports Authority of India successfully completed its precision approach path indicator test at the airport 2 weeks ago. The landing will be conducted to ensure that the airport is ready to open for commercial operations by set deadline of March 31st, 2025. Indian Army contingent comprising over 300 personnel will participate in joint military exercise Surya Kiran between India and Nepal. The exercise will be held in Nepal's Saljhandi. The exercise will provide a platform for soldiers from both the nations to share best practices, enhance interoperability and foster a stronger bond in conduct of joint operations. The UK will end a tax exemption for private schools starting 1st January 2025. The centre-left Labour government has announced in a move set to raise over $1.9 billion for public education. After years of worsening educational inequalities, from January 1st, private schools will have to pay 20% value-added tax on tuition fees, which will be used to fund thousands of new teachers and improve standards in state schools. The policy was promised by Labour in its election campaign and officially laid out in its inaugural budget in October. Sports updates now. We'll start with cricket. Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj gave India a perfect start against Australia after visitors got all out on 369 at start of day 4 in the Melbourne Test. Bumrah castled young Constance on 8, while Mohammad Siraj got the better of Usman Khawaja in the first session. At lunch, Australia lead by 158 runs. At the start of the day, Nitish Kumar Reddy and Mohammad Siraj didn't manage to hang on for long as the Centurion became the 10th wicket to fall for India. Pat Cummins, Scott Boland and Nathan Lyon picked up 3 wickets each to bowl India out on day 4. And South Africa slumped to 27 for 3 against Pakistan when bad light brought play to an early close on the 3rd day of the first test at Centurion. The home side need 148 to win and secure a place in the WTC final at loss after bowling out Pakistan for 237. Pakistan kept their hopes of victory alive as they took 3 wickets in the opening 9 overs of South Africa's second innings, with Mohammad Abbas taking 2 wickets and Khurram Shahzad taking the other. Aiden Markram, who top scored for the hosts in the first innings, will resume on 22 not out alongside skipper Temba Bavuma when play resumes on Sunday. Now in chess, India's Koneru Humpy beat Indonesia's Irene Karisma Sukandar in round 11 to win FIDE World Rapid Championship 2024 in New York on Sunday. This is Humpy's second World Rapid title after claiming the top spot in 2019 in Moscow. Going into the final round of the event, 6 players apart from Humpy were leading the tournament with 7.5 points in 10 rounds. However, all top boards were ended in a draw before Humpy struck the final nail in the coffin against Irene. And world chess champion D. Gukesh met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Saturday. Praising Gukesh's determination and dedication, PM Modi said his confidence was truly inspiring. PM Modi remarked that their conversation revolved around the transformative potential of yoga and meditation. Gukesh presented to PM Modi the original chessboard of the game he won. It is autographed by him and Grandmaster Ding Liren of China. Gukesh became youngest world champion at the age of 18 when he defeated Ding Liren in Singapore early this month. After meeting, PM Modi posted on social media platform X, had an excellent interaction with chess champion and India's pride D. Gukesh. I have been closely interacting with him for a few years now, and what strikes me most about him is his determination and dedication. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.